Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This has been one of the worst moments for markets in a very long time. The stock market right now is completely and utterly capitulating. Tech stocks capitulating. Crypto, I would say, has already capitulated, but right now it's not dumping as much as maybe you would think. Now, I'm not trying to diminish the impact on the crypto market of these tariffs and everything like that. But when you look at Bitcoin and you see the fact that it's at 82.5K, it's actually holding in there. It's actually holding in quite well, considering the first FUD of the tariffs brought us all the way down to 76K. We're at 82 right now. So we're still kind of in a bit of safety. Whilst the stock market is completely and utterly capitulating. So I'm finding it quite interesting how stocks right now are going down a lot. Crypto isn't. Maybe that ties into the fact that cryptocurrency itself can't really have a tariff and it's not a good that can be tariffed. Therefore, it's not having as much of an effect compared to something like maybe a car company, which obviously will have big impacts from the tariffs. So it's very interesting to see the crypto market is actually holding in there, despite it obviously not being great recently and all of that. It doesn't look terrible. We're in a golden pocket on Bitcoin. We're in some form of safety here with the total market cap as well. The lows that we put in March are in a golden pocket. We're above that golden pocket right now, so it's not looking too bad. Total 3 looks very similar to the total market cap. Golden pocket is below us. We're almost there now. Will we go down, make a double bottom, and get a bounce? Those are the things I'm going to discuss in today's video. So if you like the sound of that, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also, check out the low prices on the VIP group right now. There is a sale available if you use the code SAVE20. I understand for a lot of people, the markets aren't great right now, so I'm giving people the opportunity to get into a group, a quality group, at a reduced cost. Use the code SAVE20 on the first link in the description. Now, look, guys, I'm not here to try and pull the wool over your eyes or anything like that, but it is interesting to me the fact that Bitcoin is only down 3.4% in the last week, whilst things like the S&P 500 are down almost 3%, right? Now, you would expect the S&P 500 to be way, way, way stronger than Bitcoin. And, a 3% dump on the S&P 500 could be like a 10%, 20% dump on Bitcoin. And it just isn't the case right now. The S&P 500 down 2.89%. Bitcoin on the day down 0.6%. I mean, Bitcoin isn't really feeling the effects of these tariffs as much as you would think, maybe, or as much as the stock market is. And the reason for that, for me, is very simple. It's because Bitcoin can't be tariffed. Crypto can't be tariffed. And the main reason we're seeing such a sell-off in the stock market is because so many companies will be feeling the effects. Okay, if you've got a car company in Germany, for example, you're going to be getting very big tariffs from the US, obviously, and that's a product, right? So it's going to be affecting products and things like that mainly, whereas things like crypto, they're not tariffed. So it's not going to be as bad for cryptocurrency. Now, that's not to say that if we have a recession, crypto is not going to come down. It certainly will, because it's a risk-on industry, and it's a speculative industry. So when there's times of economic uncertainty or economic pain, especially to the consumer, crypto is going to feel the pain as well. Even if it's not directly affected, it will be indirectly affected, and it will be dragged down with everything else. But one thing I am here to do is to show you some of these charts and tell you that it's actually okay as of right now. Nothing has been broken. The bull market has not been invalidated with crypto yet. We are still above, for me, the clear invalidation levels, and I'll discuss those a little bit in the video. But if you look at, for example, the total market cap, it's above the levels we were at in early March, during the first crash from the tariffs. And that is a good sign. In fact, to me, it's showing a bit of strength. The fact that we haven't come crashing down to the 786 when the stock market has come crashing down, to me, that shows that maybe most of the pain has already been done in the crypto market. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible that we come down again or even come down lower than the golden pocket. I'm not saying that's impossible at all. Okay. But it is showing some strength relative to what we have just had. Relative to the news, we've had strength. So I'm pretty pleased right now with the markets and how they're reacting. I am actually in a buying mode currently, and I was in a large cash position for the past couple months, but recently I have started buying, and I've been primarily buying coins like Ondo and other coins that I have high conviction in. So that's what I've been doing recently in the market. If you do want to see exactly the coins I'm buying and selling, you can get all of that in the VIP group. I'm not going to give you, some of the low cap purchases. Those are exclusive for the group, but there have been a couple low caps which I've purchased, which I think could go on to do incredible things when the market finally recovers. I mean, we don't even need a big pump. We just need Bitcoin to go to like 110K again, and you're going to see some 20, 30, 40 X's on low caps. Okay. I'm not saying that's going to be the case on high caps. A lot of high caps are only going to do a 3 to 10X, but on low caps, there's going to be a lot of money to be made. And I'm currently purchasing little by little with some of the low caps in the market. But if we look at the total market cap, you can see we're above the golden pocket and we're still in some form of a buffer zone. If we were to break below these levels and below the golden pocket, then it would be a little bit concerning because we probably see much further pain. But as of right now, I'm not massively concerned. I have a bit of concern, but I'm not massively worried because the total 3 also looks like that. We're above the golden pocket and above the March levels that we went to based on the first shock of the tariffs. What's interesting is the tariffs are way worse than what people expected, yet crypto has hung in above the initial tariff FUD news, which came out last month. The stock market, however, hasn't done that. The stock market has gone and made a lower low. Crypto hasn't done that yet. Now, I'm not saying it won't do that. I'm not saying that's impossible, but it hasn't done it yet. And for me, that is showing some form of relative strength in the market. Okay, so if we look at some of the key altcoins on my radar, if we look at SUI, it is in a golden pocket right now. It's kind of below it, but we can have wicks and swings. It really all depends how we close the week and close the day. But to me, SUI is looking like a pretty attractive buy as long as it does hold kind of this range here and it doesn't break down, because then maybe we will be targeting the next fib level. But to me, SUI, around the low $2 range is a pretty nice buy. You guys know I stacked most of my SUI way below $1, so I'm not necessarily in a major rush to be buying, but this would entice me if I was looking at an altcoin. Another one which is kind of enticing me is Ondo. Okay, full disclosure, this is a coin for me which will do massive gains in the next run up. I think Ondo looks like a pretty decent buy. Okay, if we go and put the fib on from the start of the chart to now, you can see Ondo is also kind of in a macro golden pocket. Okay, so not necessarily like a local golden pocket. It's already broke down below all the fib levels. But if we zoom out on the all-time chart, at least the all-time chart on TradingView, then you can see that we are in a golden pocket and it doesn't look too bad as a purchase. So right now we are kind of on support for crypto. We haven't seen any major breakdowns. Now, I do want to just discuss a little bit invalidation levels for me. Levels I will be targeting where, you're probably looking at a high chance of a bear market if these things happen, but we're not there yet. So we don't really need to worry too much about that. But obviously in the short term, Bitcoin is holding this 61865 level. But if we're talking invalidation levels, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the weekly and I'm going to be looking at the Gaussian channel. That's really what I'm going to be looking at for a clear invalidation level, because this has served us pretty well in the past with Bitcoin. And if you see last cycle, we had a mid-cycle correction. We briefly entered the Gaussian channel, but it was very, very brief, and we got straight out of it and got to safety. Now, what happened after that, when we entered it again, we stayed in it. And when you stay in it for a period of time, you come right down and you usually come down the other end. Okay. And that is a true and utter complete bear market. Okay. Complete and utter, not true and utter. Sometimes I do that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at, is the Gaussian channel. Where is that right now on the weekly? It's sat around 76K. So the problem we have here is this is kind of curving up right now. So, we need to hold it. We could come down to 79 and then bounce. That would be fine. 78 maybe and bounce 77. But if you start seeing this enter like that into the low 70s, that is a point of concern, guys. It really, really is, because when that happens, it means you usually will come down below it and go through it outside, below it, right? So that's my concern, is if we were to come into this and clearly enter it, we probably be coming through it, entering a bear market, and probably seeing Bitcoin between 30 to 40K at best. Okay, it could even go lower than that. As of right now, we are still in safety, but we'll have to assess the situation. I'm going to be assessing it every single day in the VIP group. We're having group calls, group chats, discussing these things constantly. I'm doing VIP live streams, voice calls almost every day as well. So if you want to be in the know, you don't want to miss these updates, I highly recommend you join the group, because I am on it 24/7. I never rest. I'm always in the crypto market. So appreciate you guys watching. I know this didn't really tie too much into altcoins, but I just wanted to get some form of an update out. I am still cautiously optimistic. I'm still bullish that we will make a higher high on Bitcoin this year, but I think there could still be a bit of chop. If I really want to oversimplify it, I think Q2 is sideways, Q3 is very bullish, and then Q4, we start to enter a bear market. That's my thoughts right now. Obviously, take it all with a grain of salt. You do you. Hit the likes on the video, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.